I did it, everyone. I managed to get texture packs working on the phone, on the Android device specifically. I don't know if this will be excessively different for the iOS, but this is what I had to do to get texture packs working on my Android phone, which is a Red Magic 9S Pro. So this was not an easy task to get it done. In fact, it was quite difficult to get it done. It took me about a day and a half of working at like a way so that everyone can follow along and get texture packs working on the phone. First, I was like, all right, we got texture packs in the phone. I can just drag the files directly to where the texture replacement folder is from my computer to the phone. One, you can't do that because the file is still hidden from the main Windows index. It's in still a weird special Android hidden area, but I can now access it directly on my Android phone, which means I can drag files to it. The way you do that is you go to the classic file explorer, which you can download in the link in the description below, and then you open that up, you go to where a file is, will probably be in the downloads folder. You then click and hold on it, and then you go to the three dots in the top right corner and go move to. This will then bring you to a move sort of thing. At the top left hand corner, there are 3 lines. You then drag up from the bottom, and the very last one should be something that says Dusk. In here is your Europe, which is your Europe save file, USA, which is your USA save file, logs, texture dumps, and texture replacements, which is what we want. So we open our texture replacement folder, and then we can then move files into this folder, such as file that we're going to be using, which is the GZ2 file, which I have gotten through a very hard means. So my first thought was I would drag my file onto my phone, I would then extract it out using some sort of extraction method, and then drag it across to the texture replacement folder. Doing this would have taken me 6 hours of my phone sitting idle on my desk, potentially ready to screw up at any moment. So that was not a solution. I could not do that. You'd think it'd be very easy to do that because, I mean, it's a USB connection, and USB connections are generally pretty fast. It's not as fast as like a direct hard drive in your computer, but it should be still very easy to transfer files over because we do this all the time with USBs. But for some reason, phone technology just does not have good USB transfer. So this was off the table straight away. My next solution was I'll open up Google Drive and I'll put the files there. This worked. You can put the folder file there, the G2Z folder, but when you try to download that from the cloud onto your phone, it doesn't let you copy folders directly. It'll just give you no download option there whatsoever, which is incredibly frustrating. You can still download the files individually, so I could have like put all the files out of their folder and put them into one mega folder and then copied all the files individually that way, because you can select all files inside of a folder and then drag it to your phone. But then we'd have a whole other issue, which is we don't have any sort of proper indexing. So if we have an error, or if we want to say have a different link model, we can't remove those files easily unless we know what those file names are actually called, and they have to manually search for them, the whole thing, and it'll be a huge ordeal. So we want to keep our folder structure. So my solution to this is you have to create an archive of the GZ2 folder, which you can do if you have 7-zip or WinRAR. All you do is go to where your folder is, and then you just go right click, 7-zip, add to g72.7zip, or you can make it as add to g72.zip, or if you're using WinRAR, g72.rar. I chose to do .rar because that's what I chose. Then you can upload this RAR file to your Google Drives, and this RAR file you can actually download from your Google Drives and put on your phone. I then had to try and extract this RAR file. So of course you can't extract files from specific things like inside of the Dusk folder. It just does not exist on the list of folders that you can look into. So I had to extract it inside my downloads folder, giving me now my GZ2 file folder inside my downloads folder, which I then had to transfer from there into the Dusk folder using the first method I showed you at the start of the video. This took a long time because there are a lot of files you have to transfer, including uploading to the internet. I think it took me about 30 minutes for my internet speed to get up to the G Cloud suite, and then it took about 10 minutes to download it from from the G-Cloud suite, and then I think it was like 5 minutes to extract it. It was a long time to extract the folder using WinRAR. I also had to download a RAR app, which was very easy to do. All it does is tell you gotta subscribe, like it always does when you open up any RAR format. It's hilarious, bruh. It keeps trying. You'll get your money one day. And then once you've extracted your folder, you can then drag it to the texture replacement. However, if your phone at any moment during the moving process turns off or goes into idle or the screen turns off, the file transfer will stop. I don't know if this is all Android phones, but on my Android phone, whenever the screen became idle too long, the screen would go black, the phone would turn off, and it would cut the moving of the files. It wouldn't like cause any corruption, thank God, but it was still, very annoying. So what you have to do is you go into settings, you then go to display and then screen timeout, and make sure you set it to 10 minutes or more than 10 minutes because it's going to take a while. And then just like tap your phone every 5 to 6 minutes to make sure it doesn't go back to idle. And then once all of that has been transferred into that texture replacement folder, you can then go over to Dusk, open it up, and you will see the glorious Henrique Magnifico 4K Twilight Princess available. Now I chose to use the 1080p textures for this tutorial. My phone version of Dusk wasn't running at 60 FPS reliably anyway, so I didn't want to go crazy with the textures because it would create even more load for the phone and it'd probably have even greater frame rate drops. I have some footage of before the texture replacement and some footage after texture replacement so you can see the comparison for yourself. It's not a crazy update to the game having these extra high quality textures, but it is definitely noticeable in a lot of ways. The grass texture does not get updated. That has something to do with the various other tweaks that this texture pack does specifically for Dolphin Emulator with the Revolution patches and stuff like that. But that's something that we can't fix right now, but hopefully in the future we'll have even better modding support for Dusk, so we can get even better quality texture upgrades like is currently available for the Dolphin Henrique Magnifico 4K version of Twilight Princess. Anyway, I hope this has helped you. I'll leave a list of steps on the screen now, and I will play some comparison shots for you. Hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, give it a like, give a subscribe over on the YouTube. All these things help the channel grow. When the channel grows, the content gets better. That's all from me. Have a good one. Bye-bye.